My week with the Kia EV6 was more than satisfactory, even without having all the premium lifestyle features I prefer in my vehicles, such as a large panoramic sunroof, smart trunk with motionless activation, and video blind spot monitoring. The last two features I just mentioned are Kia, Hyundai, and Genesis specific, but my years of reviewing their products have made them favorites of mine and must-haves. All that aside, this video is about my daily driving range experience with the EV6. Now, on average, during the work week, myself, close friends, and associates spend no less than 90 minutes in our vehicles daily. And being all gas-powered vehicle owners, we don't stress the need to refill our tanks because gas-powered vehicles have been our way of life since we started driving, and gas stations are, well, everywhere. Fast forward to today, and EVs are becoming more and more popular as manufacturers announce their intentions to make the switch to full electrification. And like I said, this video is about my real-world daily driving range experience with the Kia EV6. So hopefully I can assist with curbing a few viewers or soon-to-be new EV owners' range anxiety. In case you missed my full Kia EV6 review, I'll provide the link up above and down below in the description so you can watch the full review, which covers battery details. But to summarize that video, this particular model is the GT line with all-wheel drive. In the US, it's referred to as the Wind trim, and in Canada, it's just the base GT line with all-wheel drive. It does not have Package 1 or Package 2. With the GT line all-wheel drive trim, you'll receive the 77.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack, which offers 320 horsepower and 446 pound-feet of torque. And with the standard 19-inch wheels, Kia suggests a range of 274 miles or 441 kilometers. But like I said, this video is all about my daily driving range experience. So let's get in the driver's seat and let's get to it. Like I said, this video is all about my real-world driving range experience inside the Kia EV6, and it's incredibly important that I mention that I never drive alone. And one of the features affecting your range or your battery usage the most is your climate control. So inside the Kia EV6, if you are a solo driver, I would recommend taking advantage of the driver-only comfort option, because when you sync up your temperature, it definitely affects your range. The other features affecting your battery range or your battery percentage is driving modes. And inside the Kia EV6, you have three. You have Eco, Normal, and Sport. I use primarily Eco and Sport. And for my first test to show you, I will use just Eco. I will also leave my climate temperature set at 72 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 22 degrees Celsius. And then I will take full advantage of braking regeneration. Braking regeneration essentially is when you lift off the accelerator, your battery or batteries will recharge themselves slightly. Inside the Kia EV6, you will find your braking regen right on your steering wheel. To max it out, use the left-hand side, and when you are in max braking regen, it will say I pedal. And you'll also be able to come to a complete stop without using your brake pedal. But you could really use that technology when you're in stop and go traffic, which is perfect for the morning or at nighttime, depending on when you leave work. Lastly, just to let you know, I'm starting at 99% battery and I have a range of 446 kilometers, which is actually more than Kia actually advertised. Now, let's hit the road. So if you're like me and you live in the suburbs, then chances are you have, a couple minute drive to the highway. And like I've said a few times, I'm going to remain in Eco mode for this test. I have 72 degree Fahrenheit set up, which is 22 degrees Celsius. And once I start rolling, then I'll activate my braking regen, which will be in max mode, effectively activating braking regen. My radio is on as well, but it's in silent mode. While you're rolling, use the left-hand side to turn on max braking regen. It says I pedal on your fully digital driver cluster. And now when I let off the accelerator, right, you'll see how much it actually comes to a stop. So I had quite the distance to reach that stop sign. This is a real good feature to use in stop and go traffic. You know, clearly it doesn't work to help recharge your battery slightly when you're on the highway. So just keep that in mind too. One of my favorite features this week with the Kia EV6 is just how quiet it is inside the cabin area, which just makes for a pleasant drive. Also, hopefully you'll be able to see it on my digital driver cluster when I am using my braking regen. You'll see on the right hand side it will say that it's in charging mode. So let's try it again. Watch, I'll come to a complete stop, foot off the accelerator, and again, just way too early. But you'll again see in my digital driver cluster that braking regen is working for me. So Kia's done a really good job with their braking regen. I've been in some manufacturing cars that it's way too aggressive. So, you know, you activate it and it not only helps to stop you, but when you try to use your brake pedal in the traditional sense, it almost jolts you forward. So I like theirs, it's just smooth, kind of like that. Another key point to mention is that I'm pretty good at staying in the suburban streets. I'm constantly around 5 kilometers an hour quicker or around the suggested speed limit. And on highways, I usually cruise in between 10 to 15 kilometers an hour over the speed limit. And that's on average. Again, this is my real world. This is what I do every single day. I live in the suburbs. I head to the highway, and then yeah, if I'm in traffic, I'm in traffic. Accelerating onto the highway is usually when you use a lot of energy. Not a lot, but you know what I mean, right? Like, you have to merge with traffic, so you have to use that accelerator, signal on, and yeah, then just merge onto the lane. And inside the Kia EV6, there's a whole bunch of DriveWise driver assisted technology, and video blind spot monitoring is my favorite. I do not have it in this particular model because I don't have package 1 or package 2 in Canada right now. And if I had it, basically a video would be projected inside my digital driver cluster, which tells me what's going on beside me. So if you're the type of driver that doesn't look over their shoulder either side, it will illustrate for you what's going on. But now we're just cruising. Right now I'm 100 kilometers an hour. It's here the speed limit is 100. As soon as I get around some cars, like I said, I'm just going to keep it in between 10 to 15 kilometers over the speed limit, because that again is my real world driving experience. I'm in eco mode, full braking regen, which as you can see I can't activate it. Back to my point about how much your climate temperature affects your range. So I'm currently in my sync mode. I'm going to activate driver only. I'm going to increase my fan, and I went from 418 kilometer range in an instant to 412. Okay, so from 418 to 412, that's a 6 kilometer range difference just by using the climate control panel. So now let's pull over and I'll give you my 45-minute stats. Now I'm going to repeat my steps, only this time I'm going to leave it in sport mode. My braking regeneration is still maxed out, and my temperature in here is still going to be synced up and set at 72 degrees Fahrenheit, 22 degrees Celsius. Now let's hit the road and I'll provide you with my final stats. And this time I'm starting with a 94% battery, and I have 424 kilometers. So I've activated once again max braking regeneration, so iPedal's on, and this time I'm in sport mode. So my digital driver cluster changes, and I don't know if you guys saw that, but you can definitely tell the difference when sport mode is activated. And all I'm gonna do is repeat my steps, but I already know that traffic may or may not be as heavy going back. But again, this is real world, right? So this is what I do. I drive from the suburbs on the highway, back into the suburbs, and then repeat. This is life. I probably mentioned it before, but this is the time when your battery gets used the most is under acceleration. And that's very similar to gas-powered cars, right? When you throttle mash it, right, you're sucking back fuel too. So there's no difference. Like driving an EV car is pretty much similar to driving a gas-powered car. The biggest thing is just getting used to finding the charging stations. But EV cars are so smart where literally you always have navigation, and it tells you on your navigation screen. So in this example, in the EV6, you know, it's a 12.3 inch panoramic display screen. It's both a touch screen and you can swipe through. But when you put in your preferred destination, it constantly shows you where there's charging stations, right? Little plugs pop up and it's like, oh, there you go. And you can really simplify the system as well and put in your preferred charging stations as well. So that's pretty cool. So speed limit right now is 100, and I'm going in between 109, 110. That's pretty typical what I do every day. I'm in the suburbs, I'm either on par with the speed limit or about 2 to 5 kilometers over. On the highway, I'm either, you know, spot on or 10 to 15 kilometer hours over. In the US, I drive the same, you know, if it says 55 miles per hour, I'm usually 60 or 65. And that really much goes with the flow of traffic. But this time, right, I'm using this sport mode. And like I said, you can tell the difference with it right away. And I'm gonna switch to my EV mode here. And I'm already at 385 kilometer range only difference. So you already saw my starting point to now. It really does affect your range or your driving modes. But like I said, real life, and this is how I drive. I prefer eco and sport. So I'm about to exit, and before I do and provide you with my final stats, I wanted you to experience how well the autonomous driving option is inside the Kia EV6. So to activate your autonomous driving, first make sure your EV6 is properly equipped, and then you have to use your steering wheel. So use the functions on your left-hand side. You have to set your cruise, okay? Make sure steering assist is on. Everything's green at the top. And then basically, you can drive autonomously. So right now I'm not using my hands and I'm not using my feet at all. It also maintains the distance in front. If I wanted to change my view inside my digital driver cluster, well then just use the button on the left-hand side of the steering wheel located on the top right. And then I can even change my distance in between the vehicle in front of me. Right now, it says put your hands back on the steering wheel for a moment and you drive autonomous again. It's a really, really good system. Like, you see how narrow the road is right now. I'm in construction. It's even telling me when someone's in my blind spot. And when it's time to put your hands back on the steering wheel, it tells you to do so using the right-hand side of your digital driver cluster. So really, really good system overall. Now I'm going to exit and I'll provide you with my final stats. Okay, so let's summarize my trip. When I started in eco mode, I had a battery percentage of 99 and a range of 446 kilometers. After my first test in eco mode, I had a battery percentage of 94 and a range of 424 kilometers. Then I just completed my sport mode test, which basically I just reversed my route. And then I finished with a battery percentage of 84, and I had a range of 358 kilometers. In total, I used 16.4 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. Again, that was my average. Now, things that really affect your daily driving range, again, is not just your climate control temperature, but your fan, okay? And remember, if you're just a solo driver, just keep the temperature on you. If you have gas, well, then use that sync mode. Other things that really affect your range, daily driving, right, is, well, drafting other cars, which I do in my gas power car, and Mother Nature. Something I can't control, but what I will do is actually repeat this test in the fall to show you how winter also affects your battery range. Guys, I'm Juliana, your automotive woman. Look down in the description below. I try to make your purchasing experience easier for you, and I'll have all the stats available down there. And check out my full review of all the information available about the Kia EV6. Thanks for watching, guys.